Well, tonight we're getting our first look at undercover videos that FBI agents took while investigating a Saratoga County man who was trying to build a death ray to massacre Muslims. Glendon Scott Crawford will likely spend at least the next 25 years behind bars after being convicted. Jennifer Lukey has been pouring through hours of undercover video of his interactions with undercover officers, which we obtained using the Freedom of Information law. And Jen, this is pretty compelling stuff.
Yeah, it sure is, Greg. Glendon Scott Crawford talked about his death ray to a number of people locally. He actually approached a Schenectady synagogue and the Jewish Federation of Northeast New York looking for help financing the plan. It was those folks who alerted investigators, and from there, investigators were able to surveil Crawford to see if he truly intended to try and pull off building and using a weapon of mass destruction.
What do you suppose you could accomplish with a defensive weapon that can kill from a considerable distance, day or night, through walls, without making a sound, leaving a wound that cannot be sensed, that takes 2 weeks to kill you?
That is Glendon Scott Crawford at a hotel in North Carolina.
This could kill whole cities in a night, silently.
Explaining his plan to men he thought were members of the KKK.
It would be weeks before anybody had any inkling that anything was wrong, and they'd probably drop dead in their beds.
Crawford wanted help and money to execute the death ray.
The only thing it won't kill is trees.
And shortly after this meeting, he started putting the plan in motion, gathering parts, software, meeting with a man in a Schenectady hotel room to look at small tubes for the would-be weapon.
Because what we would have to do, we'd have to set up the power supply for it.
In June of 2013, Crawford met undercover agents at a warehouse in Saratoga, where he supplied them with a remote control radio he said would activate the device.
We may have to swap out this whole timer.
And that's when this happened. Crawford was found guilty of attempting to acquire and use a radiological dispersal device and conspiring to use a weapon of mass destruction. The president of the mosque on Central Avenue, one of the locations Crawford intended to target, says he believes the threat was real.
Really, it was a very dangerous undertaking, and if it would have eventuated, it would have done really harm, not only to Muslims, anybody. For example, if he would have parked a car here, and with radiations going on for a few hours, as his plan was, not only Muslims, any public walking by, driving by would have been affected.
Glendon Scott Crawford was found guilty by a jury of his peers last month. He will be sentenced in December. Liz.